For your health and wellness needs, visit alsherbs.com, ALSHERBS.com, because your health is your wealth. For all your tech support needs, visit ASCS Technical Services at ASCSTS.com. We have on-site service as well as remote support options. Check out BrokeGeniuses.com. Stay in the know. Order some of our latest merchandise as well as use our financial tools to help you on your daily financial journey.
What is going on? What's going on? Welcome to TGIF. And what we're going to be talking about today are credit coaches or credit basically experts that's giving you advice. Are they playing with fire or teaching you how to play with fire in that case? That's what we're going to look at today. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what is basically going on today is that basically it's a lot of people that are in debt. Okay, a lot of people that, a lot of these banks and, it's all kind of ways to get money. Amex is booming, Visa is booming, MasterCard is booming. I mean, people are spending money. People still are gainfully employed for the most part. The people that are still getting unemployment, they're getting unemployment and they're still spending money, and that's, pretty much everyone has expenses and they're going to spend money. I mean, it is what it is. So what they're doing is using those credit cards. People still have student loans they have to pay for. Pretty soon they're going to go out of forbearance, like for example, my student loans are in forbearance primarily because of this pandemic. But, some people are on a more proactive plan and they're actually paying off their student loans 1 month at a time. And they have a plan to actually be debt free. So that being said, people are still, using credit. They're buying cars. People are buying real estate. They're using credit. And, the credit coaching topic basically came by my uh desk pretty much because I was tuning into I'm not gonna mention any names, but if you follow me and you follow me through other people's channels or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. But basically, I was watching a YouTuber, and they were critiquing basically another YouTuber that is not going to be mentioned or whatever. That basically, quote unquote, his thing is to finesse the credit bureaus. So that's basically Equifax, TransUnion, and what's the other one? Equifax, TransUnion, and man, it goes to show how much I know about credit. And then I know I'm having a brain fart. Okay, so I know I think the other one starts with the E2, but here, okay. Oh yeah, Experian. Okay, all right. So yeah, so you got these three credit bureaus, right? And pretty much a lot of people are that have the ability to get credit. They are getting actively getting credit. Okay, people, the banks are not closed. Okay, the banks they're open. I mean, they have limited hours. They have limited interactions because of this pandemic, but they're still open. Okay, they're not shut down. They're beefing up their call centers to handle customer service. They're still actively processing paperwork. People are actually probably working from home, but these banks are still in business. These credit card companies are still in business, and they're processing credit cards. These banks, they're processing loan documents every day. Okay, and some of these people are actually getting these loans. Some of these people are actually getting these credit card offers in mail. Still, they're still sending credit card offers in the mail, and then also in your email. And people are still applying, and then some people are actually getting credit. So with that being said, where this probably has a problem where it becomes a fire is when you have people that, because see, here's the thing, because I was listening to the YouTuber as well, that he had the another YouTuber that pretty much called, just for the most part, looks at everybody that is in debt or a slave. Okay. They pretty much were talking, about different topics and stuff, but mainly that basically the idea is if you have debt, you pretty much are a slave. And I have the same mindset. Okay, I don't see a lot of those people that were arguing with him, other YouTubers that was arguing with both of them. Um, I disagree with wholeheartedly, as well as it's no argument. And I've zeroed in onto this with my channel. Everything is based off of your net worth. Okay, so when as far as your finances, okay, good people are good people. It's good people that sleep under an overpass every night, and they're actually good people, right? But it just so happened they just are homeless. But that being said, your net worth financially, it goes by assets over liabilities. All the It's kind of like and when I say assets over liabilities, whatever you owe minus whatever you have, just to make it in layman's terms. But so when people argue over the fact that they have more intrinsic financial value by having debt, having more debt towards however many assets they have, or what they have as far as cash, because cash on hand is assets. What you have in your bank account is an asset as long as it's positive. So when I hear people arguing anything indifferent, you know what it reminds me of a few instances in life where people argue and you're not going to get anywhere because it all goes back to zero. It all goes back to basically when you just look at it like a cashier that works at a grocery store. At the end of the day, she has to count her register. And she's supposed to have a positive balance from whenever the day her shift started. So if she had $500 in the cash register, she ultimately should have, $4 or $5,000, depending on how big the store that she works. She's supposed to have a positive balance in that drawer. So when I hear people arguing over them having a negative balance, okay, as far as their in all of their accounts of what they owe compared to whatever they have as far as surplus assets or monies on hand. I just think of like a person arguing over a sentence that the judge just gave them. You can't you're wasting your breath. She already or he already gave the sentence for probation or community service or 1 year in jail, 5 years in jail. Your arguments ain't going anywhere. She's going to just pretty much give you either more time from that case, or she gonna yell, "Bailiffs, come get this guy," and send you on your way while you just arguing like a crazy person. Because it's no argument. You either have a positive balance or you have a negative balance, or you sit down and shut up and go do your quiet time or do your timeout and just shut your ass up. Because that when you arguing, you look like a child. You look like a little ass kid or a frustrated fat boy that didn't get any cake because his mom said he can't get no cake because he had too much already. That's how you sound when you arguing about anything other than you actually having what you have in your account or don't have. I mean, basically, what I'm talking about is what you don't have. Because if you owe more than what you actually have, as far as assets, you have no money on paper. You don't have any money when you go to a bank and you actually even want to get a loan. And let's just say the bank is based off of how much your assets are or how much your net worth is. They're not going to give you any money because they have no correct collateral to collect. It's no collateral because you don't own anything or you don't have anything or whatever you own. It's not of value enough to get a loan that you probably want. Or let's just say, I mean, just figuratively, all of your debtors, let's just say it was a law that all anything that you owed automatically has entitlement to whatever assets that you do have. Well, in that case, if you have more debts than what you have assets, all of your debtors would just get all of your assets, all of your money, or they will be locked into it. So basically when you go to a bank, and if they based it off of your net worth, you wouldn't be able to get anything because basically you they won't have any collateral to collect. So that's the basis of why I don't understand how people can argue that. Because whether if you think that wherever you think the guy that calls people slaves is an asshole, a prick, arrogant, cock sucker, basically, or uh just whatever. He's just a rude individual, which I do think the gentleman in question is very. It's not so much rude. He's very arrogant and just kind of like has an arrogance about himself that is really bigger than what he actually is. Because I mean, it's like pretty much You would think he would have arrogance of a millionaire, but he's just some random dude living in an apartment. But I mean, that's beside the point. I mean, all that aside, I don't care if the dude was the KKK, the dragon of the KKK. If it's truth, it's truth. If what is said is actually the facts or the case, it is. If you have and you can't get around it. I can't be a business student or someone that went to business college and actually tell you something about anything other than yes, it assets over balance over liabilities is your balance sheet basically. So when you make up a budget, that's the first step in creating. After you create the budget, you have a balance sheet that goes with that budget. And if you owe more than what you actually have, your personal financial balance sheet is in the negative. So your net worth is in the negative. And then also, if it's a business, like most businesses that are publicly traded, I'm kind of like I filter them out. Honestly, I don't even buy companies that are in debt. Really, I try to really avoid it. Really, when I really want to just use my screeners to find companies that I want to purchase, I really don't like to. I don't even put filters in for companies that have debt. If their EBITDA is like where it's below, like they're in the negative, I don't. I really just really filter them out a lot of times. It depends on what I'm actually buying, but when I'm looking for like companies to actually purchase, I filter out companies that have debt. Okay, because I know debt is, if you think personal debt is something, try business debt. So it's like could actually take your company out of business, and many companies have done so. So I mean, that being said, these credit coaches that actually teach these quote unquote, finesses or messes or whatever the case may be, you are kind of, in my opinion, strong opinion, playing with fire, you know. And I'm gonna read an article about the statistics in America. Okay, basically stats on debt in America, and kind of show you how a lot of people are really, in my opinion, are playing with fire with this whole credit system that people live in. So let me share my screen and show this article here. I'll put this in the chat here. Actually, what I'll do is I'll make a bit.ly to shorten it. Make a bit.ly code. So get this shortened for you guys. Let's see. All right. So here is the link here. So you can follow along if you are going to watch this anytime from now to the future. So this is updated September 2020. This is the articles from shiftprocessing.com. This is American debt statistics. So when it comes to, as the article reads, when it comes to categorizing certain four-letter words, it's safe to say most people that debt feel that debt is one of them. While there are those that argue that some debt is good, like mortgage debt, most Americans would rather have money to put somewhere else. Yeah. They would much rather spend their hard-earned dollars on fun stuff like vacations or put money into savings and retirement rather than their debt. But in reality, If we want to have a house to live in or a car to drive, debt is unavoidable for the majority of Americans. Unavoidable or not, going into debt is borrowing from our future, and many are feeling the stings of their past decisions. In fact, about 13% of Americans expect to be in debt for the rest of their lives. Alas, debt is all too common in America. So 13% just have basically a mindset that is just like basically I'm going to be in debt for the rest of my life. I wonder if they actually got that from someone that they heard. Like that's something that they heard and they came to that mindset. Because yeah, you got a lot of doom and gloomers out here. You know, people actually, people even hop up on my panel and they have this doom and gloom type of mentality, and I'm like, man, dude, no, no. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, yeah, life is tough, but I mean, not all the time. But so here's a snapshot of the statistics of Americans in debt. Okay. 80% of Americans have consumer debt. So, basically, only 20%, as this reads, do not have any consumer debt, right? So, then notice they said consumer debt. They didn't say business debt. So that's 80% Americans. So all you people out here talking about, you living your best life and all that, you're in debt. 80% of this doesn't have anything to do with white, black, nothing. This is 80% of all Americans have some form of consumer debt. Americans have $14 trillion in debt collectively. Mortgage debt is the biggest debt in America with 9.44 trillion owed collectively. The average American household mortgage is $189,586. The average consumer debt is $38,000, excluding their mortgage, meaning it's not included with this average. People age 45 to 55 have the greatest average debt when compared to other age groups, but they also earn most of the money on average. Okay. So you women that are listening to me, I just gave you game right there. Real easy game. So let me look up Generation X because I want to see what the years are because it looks like Gen Xers. Yes. So these are the Gen Xers. Okay. Um. So Gen X is 1965 to 1980. So I'm right on the cusp. All right. So the Gen Xers pretty much they're the group that have the greatest average of debt in America, and but they make the most money. Yeah, we know some stuff. You millennials and you Generation Zs, yeah, we know how to do things like use a rotary phone, use a 8 track, put a play an 8 track tape, you know, rewind a cassette tape, rewind a VHS tape, rewind a Betamax if you have one of those. What else we know how to do that is no longer? Oh yeah, actually type a paper with the typewriter. Um, just stuff like that, and then actually, I don't know. Do you know how to use a pager? Do you actually know how to call somebody? Like, know how to pretty much call somebody back on a pager and actually dial a pager. Now, I do not remember how to dial a pager though. I have to get probably a short refresher. But I think I could. I think it's basically you dial the number and then I don't know. It's been a long time since I dialed a pager, but I had a couple of. I had a shoot. At one time, I found like I used to find pagers a lot, and I would take them to the pager shop, and this was well before eBay, the internet, none of that. So I would take them to the pager shop, and I get like $20. You know, it's another thing that's around that's not pretty much around anymore. Um, Yeah, tape. I mean, back to the VHS. Actually, tape an actual TV show and a movie with the same VHS tape before before that was like streaming and everything like that. But I mean, anyways, I mean, yeah, we Gen Xers, we know a little bit something about we got some stuff that we know that we make the most money, and then we older, we've been in our careers longer, we getting older, you know I mean, but yeah, they say Gen Xers pretty much have the greatest average debt. Okay, so 13% of Americans expect to be in debt for the rest of their lives. We already talked about that, the doom and gloomers. So it's about 13% of the population is, you know, pretty much, I mean, probably, I don't know how you want to use that data, but it's something to it. Medical costs have increased 33% in the past 30 years, while the income has only grown 30%. So, that's interesting. You know what that means? Basically, medical companies are making a lot of money. Healthcare is making a lot of money, but the incomes are not able to keep up with it. The cost of raising a child in America is around $250,000 from birth to age 18. Okay, so this is cost of living. This is not even included in debt, but it's just like it is an important statistic because um, whatever you have to spend money on your current expenses, you have to add your children to the mix. I mean, children have they have expenses too and needs and stuff like that too. So it's like a whole nother person that you got to take care of. So yeah, it is important to factor that into your budget. I mean, that takes away from money that you'll actually be able to pay for debts and stuff like that. It's might even be, if you're paying for child care and private school and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it does cost. I don't think this is like average. I don't think like they probably include with the $250,000, like if you send your kids to private school. I know child care is expensive, but if you like, they probably got a lot of stuff in there. But I mean, I don't know if it actually truly costs 250,000 or if it even costs more than that. Might seem like it costs more than that. But yeah, 2 out of 10 Americans use at least 50% of their income to pay back what they owe. So most people, they pay back what they owe. They're trying to pay back what they owe, as far as their debts are concerned. And a lot of people, they pay a lot of their income towards paying stuff back. You know, so that's another thing. So two out of no one only 1 in 3 Americans have a written budget. Okay, that's just unacceptable. That's unacceptable. I mean, pretty much what you can do is you could just go to my blog, brokegeniuses.com, and it's a budget calculator right there. I mean, you could knock your budget out right there. Basically, just plug in all those numbers and then shit, just copy it and paste it, in a freaking, I don't know, Excel spreadsheet, and there you go. You got your budget, or just, I don't know, just print it out or something. But not have any budget, that's ridiculous. That could be done with easily. This one in three like stuff, it could just, all you got to do is just take a proactive approach toward personal finance, and then just write down what you actually owe every month, what you pay, what you spend your money on every month, and you can just basically tweak it, edit it, and put yourself on an allowance. I mean, this could be done just by you just saying that you want to do it. I mean, this is why people get rich. This is why I'm very confident. I'm very, like, the confidence in my voice is because, I just have a lot of things that's working, a lot of systems. One of them is my millionaire savings plan, and I don't have no problem with a budget. I have a budget. It's just so ridiculous that you would not have a budget. You know what I'm saying? That just, like, it just, you just see how you separate yourself from the losers, just with just basically the things that losers do. You know, I mean, just to not have a budget doesn't cost anything. It's literally free. To make a budget is free. It's like does not cost anything to create a budget, and then only one out of three Americans. So that's basically only 33% of Americans have a budget. That's ridiculous. That it costs anything. So literally people just want to be poor. People are so cultured to be poor that they just like whatever. Doesn't matter. Almost half of the families in the US live paycheck to paycheck. Now, you know, I understand how to be, right now I'm going through some renovations. I'm full speed ahead. I'm spending thousands of dollars. Yeah, things are tight, but I'm still not even paycheck to paycheck. Paycheck to paycheck means, okay, basically most people already know what it means. It means you literally can't spend any money because you're waiting for your next paycheck. You have no money to spend because you're waiting for your paycheck. Or even you, if something came up, you couldn't pay for it because something big, because you're waiting for your next paycheck. You know, I haven't lived like that, fortunately, since, oh boy, I want to say I want to say probably September of 2018. I just created my millionaire savings plan, and I haven't looked back. I just, I have so much surplus that even if I'm down to, like, my account is really low, I still have money. I still have money to access in another account that I can use. And then if it's really bad, like, I'll just hop in my car, and then I'll start delivering food to people and make a little coins. Literally. Like, I've never been, I've not had zero since at least 2018, where it was like moments I've had zero. No. Uh-uh. Not at all. I got money, I got change in Hinkley and Schmidt jars. I mean, like, I would never, I hope I'll never go back to zero ever again in life. Like, to be zero, to zeroed out, nah. I want to allow myself to be zeroed out. So it's short of, this is the calendar. I mean, well, chart for debt and debt households in America. So this is auto loans is like the average. This is the average debt, like $27,000 is the average debt for people in America. You know what? I gotta pause for this. So you mean to tell me the average auto loan debt in America is $27,000? Wow. 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 And I mean, that is just crazy. Because you're talking to a person that drives a Benz that pays $700 for his car. I swear, I promised my right hand to God. I didn't had this car. It's gonna be a year this month. I didn't had this car for a whole year, and I spent $900 for it. I mean, it's right on my YouTube page because it was like I got step two on my millionaire savings plan, and I just wanted to get another car, because the other car I had was like a Mercury Cougar. It smelled like oil. It like smelled like Otis when you got in the car. I mean, I wanted to get something else. So you mean to tell me people have the on average $27,000 in car loans? That is crazy, crazy. I mean, people got cars and can't really afford them, basically, and then got too much car. I'm gonna tell you how crazy this is. I'm gonna tell you how crazy this is. My house is only 10,000. It's not even $10,000. It's $9,000. I mean, that's how much I owed on it. But I mean, well, that was part of the contract. I mean, I'm already in probably about four more of that. I mean, like I put down three. I'm at another like 2,000 into it. I would only probably have by a few months from now probably only 4,000 left, and I'll just cut a check and give them that for the rest of the amount I owe. But I own the house is only $9,000, and the average car, just to get a car, is four wheels that go straight, that you can turn, you can go backwards in it. That's all it is. It don't matter if you have a freaking Lamborghini, a Maserati, BMW, Mercedes, Chevy, Ford, whatever. The four wheels go, and then it gets you to a destination, and then you can go reverse, you can go, to the left, to the right. I mean, that's pretty much it. Now, yeah, it's cars that are nicer than others and all of that, and look better and faster. Oh yeah. But if you ain't got the money to pay for that, to get brand new cars and stuff like that, that's ridiculous. And you live in an apartment and you got a brand new car. That is ridiculous. That's ghetto. Do you know how ghetto that is? That's called actually being ghetto. And that goes for everybody. That's all inclusive, no matter what ethnicity you have. Living in an apartment building, having an apartment, and a brand new car is ghetto as hell. That's some ghetto ass shit. Because basically, you making the car dealer rich, you making the auto loan company rich, and then you making the person rich, whoever your landlord is. You a new fool. You ghetto as hell. And yeah, you can tell whoever lives this lifestyle, go tell them I told you so. I mean, because as a person that's just considered like a junior financial guru at this point, that is ghetto as hell to have a freaking brand new car and live in an apartment building. When you don't have no money, you're like living check to check, you have no budget. I don't even care if you got $1,000 in the bank. It's ghetto. That's very ghetto. Because the car you don't own, nor the apartment or the apartment building you don't own, and you ain't doing nothing but just money just going out of your pocket every month, just throwing it down the drain. That's what you're doing in that case. But anyway, moving along, credit cards, the average household debt $6,000. I mean, that's I guess okay. I ain't really got nothing to say too much about that. I mean, that's pretty low. I really would think that would be higher. But the thing is that um, I mean, me personally, I never had no credit card offer higher than probably maybe $1,000. I don't think I've ever had no. I think the highest credit card limit I probably had was either 500 or $1,000. So I've never had it where I had a $5,000 limit, $10,000 limit, or anything like that. So you know, I mean, people that's what people are actually holding. It's pretty expensive. That's a lot of money because you got to think of the interest rate with that. That's a lot of money. And mortgages. Average person has $189,000 mortgage. Um, here's the thing. This is about average, right? So a reason why it's so high is not because that's the average person that has an $189,000 mortgage. It depends on where you live and stuff like that. They're adding up all the people in the world in the United States, which is not the world, but people in the United States and what their mortgage is. So that's $189,000 on average, but they're averaging somebody that has a condo in San Francisco or a house or a townhouse in San Francisco that's like millions of dollars and they got a mortgage on it. Somebody that got a apartment in New York that they own and they got $1 million mortgage on it, and then they got a house in New York that's $10 million or a building that's $10 million, and they got a mortgage on it. And wherever it is, Miami, whatever, like where it's very expensive, they're averaging all of this out. I mean, the average person does not have $189,000 mortgage. It depends on who you talk to, but a lot of people do have mortgages. Student loans, $46,000 on average. That's very, very high. And I do have a mortgage. I mean, a student loan, and it's pretty expensive. It's pretty close to that. So yeah, but I calculated my houses, my housing theory. So one of my theories, as far as unconventionally how I plan to pay off my student loans, is just keep buying up real estate. Because if I can just sell one, if I can sell one property and then I get the check and it's like 50,000, I sell a house for 50,000. I'll just take that check, put it in my account, and then call the student loan company and be like, "Hey, what can I get as far as in a settlement?" They be like, "Mr. Broke Genius, we'll give you a settlement for how about 38? I mean, how about 49,000 to just settle this up today, and or how about 45,000? $45,000, Broke Genius, and we can get this off of your record. We can you know report this to the credit bureaus as paid. I mean, that's what I plan on doing, and it's relatively not too far away. I'm willing to just do it with just the first house that I have. Just go ahead, just find another house, and then just put that house up for sale, and then sell it, and then just mail the check to the freaking federal government, pretty much, and then be done with it. And then they got their money. My credit bureau is clean. I have no other debts. Pretty much I can just talk more shit because now I ain't got no debts. I can even probably come back and I control some people that said I was that my channel was worthless, because then I would be able to talk shit about them, because I'd be like, well, I did it for a lot less and a lot less gray hairs, and I did it unconventionally, where it wasn't necessarily you know freaking holding the anvil and a whole bunch of leg weights and all this other stuff. I just pretty much, I don't know, use my research and abilities and whatever I knew how to do. I don't know, and I pretty much applied my brain power to get it done. Why did it take you so long? I mean, I probably talk a little stuff, a little smack, but I mean, that's my theme with that. But personal loans, on average, people have about $10,000 in personal loans. I don't think I've ever had a personal loan. Um, I don't think I've ever gotten one of those. But anyway, this is the average debt per American household. So this is basically 35-year-old to I guess in younger. They have about 67,000. Uh, and this is like, I guess this is Gen Xer. I mean, actually, this is millennials to Gen Zers, $67,000 on average debt. And this is Gen Xers, younger Gen Xers and millennials. Average debt is $133,000 per household. That's like if you got your wife, and you together, you know. This will be Gen Xers only. So this would be older Gen Xers, 45 to 54 age group, and they have the highest debt, and it's $134,000, and the younger Gen Xers, and actually this would be, yeah, this will be the oldest Gen Xers, and the youngest boomers. So this is the age range of 55 to 64. Okay, so they have about $108,000 worth of debt. So, you know, yeah, it's pretty. That's as long as you millennials and you young millennials and Gen Zers, if you just kind of stay out of debt, you'll be doing pretty good. So the oldest, these are the young, well, these are the youngest boomers. The youngest boomers have $66,000, so they have about $1,000 less than the youngest millennials and Gen Zers. So they have basically the young boomers. They have $66,000 in debt. The Gen Zers and millennials, young millennials, have about 67,000. So the oldest boomers, 75 plus, they have about $34,000 in debt. So I guess like when you get older, on average, you get out of debt. You don't want to take all of this debt to your grave, because you probably, losing sleep because you thinking about your children, and you like, we want to retire, and your financial experts are telling you, don't trim this debt, get out of debt. By that time, if you was a doctor, you've already paid your student loans off, your $200,000-300,000 in student loans. You done paid it off by the time you 674 or 65 or 60. You done paid it off already, and you getting ready to retire. So you've already, it finally clicked in when your hip went out, and then you had a couple hip replacements, and then your hearing went bad, and then you know you gotta slow down a little bit. You finally click that, you ain't gotta spend all of that money, and all of that type of stuff. And then you finally you finally figured it out to get out of debt. Now you only have a little small amount of debt. So and you retired, and or you still working, and then like it's funny, man. These dudes, man, I work with, man, they the security guards. These dudes, man, they like old as hell, old white dudes that work security, and they just doing it. They say just to get away from their wives. They retired from their other job that they had when they were younger or whatever, and then they got that money coming in, and then they just work their security for beer money, you know. But yeah, that's kind of how that goes. And then you older, not to have debt then, and you deal with that. So this gets kind of interesting. So this is debt by ethnicity. So this is pretty good. This is a pretty good article. I posted it in the chat, so it's right there. If you can follow along. And this is $70,000 for the average debt that white people have. Okay, so they have $70,000 in personal loan on average. And black people have 29,000. But see, here's the thing. This chart would be a lot higher, but because a lot of black people are excluded from loans. So all of the loans as far as like debts up here, like mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, personal loans, a lot of times black, or even more of mortgages, if I didn't say that, a lot of black people are excluded from getting this. So I'm not even surprised that this figure here is low, because a lot of times, it's challenges to even get to use credit to get any type of, loans or credit cards and stuff like that. So it's not surprising that black people have the less total of on average debt, because a lot of black people just don't even qualify for credit. One of the things about, actually probably the good thing, like for example, I never qualified in my lifetime for a home loan, because I either didn't have the work history, or I didn't have the credit, or something, down payment, or whatever the case may be. It was like I could never hardly get a mortgage loan. And it's like, man, I'm kind of grateful that I wasn't able to, because like for example, I don't know how many times I heard people say when the market collapsed, like, damn, thank God I didn't get no house, because a lot of people went underwater and lost their house and stuff like that. And it's like, that's how I feel about a lot of stuff. It's like, I really am glad that I did actually get any of these products that I requested or I applied for. Loans, personal loans, and even mortgages and cars and stuff like that. I'm so thankful I didn't get it, because it's like it would have been a situation where would have had more debt. So yeah, I think because like that's like kind of racism, kind of helping black people, unfortunately, because basically that's what it is. It's racism. But in this case, racism is actually helping black people, because we have the least amount of debt in America. Because, and then also we don't qualify for a lot of debt. Take race out of it, we don't black people don't qualify for a lot of debt, because we earn the least. And we have a lot of expenses that we have to pay. And we A lot of us are unemployed, um have high unemployment rates. And another thing is that because of and then we also have a huge disparity black people being business owners, and then also black people don't support a lot of black owned businesses, so we have a wealth problem. So if you don't have any money, you don't have any money to get your credit better. I mean, it goes back. All of this stuff goes back to, goes back to, like, it's all cyclical. It all is one cosmic soup of, of what makes what. Like, it's a cause and effect, basically. So not having a lot of wealth, not having a lot of money, not having a lot of inheritance, and then also being the least paid, not getting any reparations, you can add that to it. So not having no money correlates into not being able to take care of your credit, take care of, building, having challenges rebuilding your credit. Not having that amount of money, the average amount of wealth and money to be able to really compete. You can't really compete. A lot of black people can't even compete enough to get credit, to even qualify for credit. So then we don't get the credit. So then we don't get in debt that much. We're the least of debt holders on average in America. So that's good. That's a win-win. I mean, racism, this is like one of the positive things about racism. You don't give us any credit, so we don't get any debt. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, let me uh let me get my sound effects working. Let's see here. So yeah, let's see here. Let's see here. Uh let's see. Let's see here. All right. Thank you. So yeah, so moving along, Asians have the highest amount of total debt. I wonder why that is. It's probably, I would have to say, maybe student loans, but yeah, I really don't know why that is the case. On average, Asians Asians are the lowest amount, as far as statistically, the lowest population numbers, like 10% or less, I believe. As far as population, I don't even think 10% is like 5% or something like that. I'm not sure what the let me search for what the population of Asians. Because I mean, it's not that many Asians that are here in the country as far as Asians. Yeah, I'm spelling wrong. Asians in the U.S. Let's see, damn, they have for the planet though. Whew, wow. Um, man. Let's see here. 1.5% Chinese, but yeah, it just roughly speaking, if it's 18.64 million, out of a population of 32.8 point 328 million and 2.2, uh that would be basically like 10% of 328 million is 32 million. So half of that is like 50. So yeah, so they're about, like I say, about 5% of the population, just roughly speaking. So 5% of the population with the most debt, I think is primarily, I would say, student loans, because a lot of your doctor holders, medical doctors, even doctoral candidates, are Asians, professors. So they go to school, they take school very seriously. They look at school as a way to elevate themselves in the career fields and career paths. And a lot of them are doctors and lawyers, even in a lot of different professional fields, primarily medicine, you know, PhD candidates, scientists, all that type of stuff. A lot of Asians do go to like master's level and PhD level, as well as like medical school. So maybe they got like a whole lot of student loans. I don't know. That is somebody that's like more into depth as far as things is concerned. Maybe they'll talk about it, but no, I mean, let me see what they say about well, basically, that's somebody maybe that they can get back with me on that, but I don't know why exactly. But Hispanics, 35 $1,000, like a little slightly more than blacks. And one thing about Hispanics, they get discriminated very similarly to blacks, but just a little different. um you know they do get this, they I would say that the reason that their credit well, debt averages are very low as well is because of the same mentions as far as like being discriminated. Because for example, case in point, when Wells Fargo got caught basically with what I'm saying, where they were caught giving Hispanics and blacks higher interest rates than what they should have qualified for. For example, someone that has a 800 credit score or 750 credit score, they're not supposed to be charged a higher interest rate than somebody that got a 650. So when they looked into it, they regular government regulatory companies came. I mean, basically, departments came in and they looked at the paperwork and they saw who these people were down by race, and they saw huge disparities of interest rates that they were giving to people just solely based off the fact that they were, Hispanic or black. And then, basically that adds to more debt because because they're given a higher balance to have to pay back if because it's based off of the interest rate. The lower the interest rate, the lower the actual loan balance that you're going to have left over and what you're actually going to have to pay back on the money. So even just that being said, they also were denying applications for mortgages for blacks and Hispanics. So this figure is based off of discriminant, not solely, but has something to do with being discriminated on, just like black people. I would have to say that has something to do with it, as well as other things such as, they're not as wealthy as other groups as well. They have very similar issues. Hispanics have very similar issues, but different issues as well than actually black people in America. So American Indians have slightly less, like $10,000 less than whites. So um, I I have not met any American Indians in a long time. I'm not really in an area where it's a lot of American Indians, so I don't really know as far as what's going on per se with them. They are very small in population. They were damn near wiped out due to various you know um, historical practices and wars with the American Indians. So yeah, but this is very interesting. Um, it also it also breaks down student debt. So according to my theory, actually Asians don't really have that much student debt. So it may be they're using personal loans to actually start businesses. Maybe that's another reason why this is so high at $119,000 average total debt. Uh, the highest student debt is blacks and whites, and then third is Asians, and then Hispanics and American Indians. So yeah, I mean this is a lot of statistics. I'm gonna pretty much um, to just talk about other things as far as the topic. I mean, as you can see, a lot of if these credit coaches are actually telling people how to actually finesse credit and get in debt in essence, right? Yeah, they are teaching pyrotechnics. They're teaching you how to play with fire because you see the debt statistics. It's a lot of debt out there. So like so many trillions of dollars of people in debt. So they are finessing people to actually follow to play with fire, because it is a lot of this going on. I mean, it's a lot of that going on where people actually like just finessing people out of their pockets because they want, they like, man, get with me and I get you an 800 credit score and all that type of stuff, all of that jazz. But even if you can get the credit score, what are you getting the credit score for? To get all of these different loan products, credit cards, and stuff like that, mortgages, which is a loan, and you getting into more debt, and then 9 times out of 10, it's going to be some challenges to pay it back, and it's like, that is literally teaching people how to play with fire in essence with you know playing with financial debt in these loan companies, which these companies are designed for them to win and win substantially. So they're definitely not to be played with. These banks, these investment firms and stuff like that give credit out and whatnot, they are not to be messed with. You definitely are playing with fire dealing with them. So, oh, appreciate it, man, appreciate it. Definitely, I'm trying to teach these people, man, because it's so many people that ain't trying to. They just living life, man, and then next thing you know, you get older and you're like, dang, man, I had a good time, but damn, I'm broke as hell. Why am I broke? I done worked all them years, and it's like, hey, what books were you reading? What type of budget do you have right now? What's your financial plan? And then they like pretty much so it's real simple, man. Money is very, very something that you need to focus on. Everybody, all black people in America should be like the Asians. You got your name is Seven Coast Dojo, so I imagine you deal with martial arts. I mean, I'm pretty, I think I sub to you. Yeah, you and nameless protagonist. Even myself, I'm a ex martial artist or whatever. I mean, Asians is definitely who I Asian philosophy or Eastern philosophy is definitely something that I really follow really hard. And you see how the Asians are, how they move when they over here. They definitely are money and business focused. And I think black people should be very, very financially focused, financially minded. And when you're financially minded and focused, you got your pen definitely to the paper and you are taking notes. You are trying to learn how to break generational curses and have generational wealth. This is basically the gist of it. Because it's like ain't nobody, man. Ain't nobody trying to be, man, broke, man, for the rest of their life, man. This is one of the richest countries in the world. Is no reason that anybody should be, broke really or poor. And then not only that, it should be no reason why you're not thriving. A lot of times people, black people say, man, these guys come over here and then they rich within 5 to 10 years. Well, what did they do to get that to get rich? I mean, what I saw was, or what I heard is, they put their head down and they go to work, and then they, take care of business. Where, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I mean, back to the topic, definitely, man, I wouldn't even run near credit. If I can avoid credit like the plague, I would. I got a credit card. It's got like $200 limit. It's a secured card. It's primarily to boost my credit score. But you got people, like, for example, that are talking about how you can finesse credit, or buy cars and buy houses and rent them out. Well, what if that person doesn't pay the rent? What if that person, just pretty much left their apartment building, and then just you got to pay that mortgage the next month, and you got no rent to collect. So it's like, a lot of, if you might be able to finesse the credit system, right? But you telling somebody what you did, they might not be able to do what you did. They might not be able to comprehend what you actually did. And you telling them people to do something, and then not able to do it, they're playing with fire. Because you might be the coldest pyrotechnic that ever walked the face of the earth, but then somebody else will blow themselves up, like a Looney Tunes cartoon or something like that. So it's like, that's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna be, too long on this, but yeah, yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about the guys that's talking about fixing credit. No, no, I'm talking about people that they go a step before, above that. They talk about, like, how you can get a loan, and a $500,000 loan and stuff like that, like $200,000 loan. And it's like, man, dude, you make $20,000 a year. How you gonna pay back a $200,000 loan? You telling these people how to get a $200,000 loan? You say, I'm fixing my credit so I can get my business going. Coaches never told people that even with an EIN, some financial institutions still require social security number to secure financial vehicles. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much, it makes sense. I mean, they're not dumb. These people don't make this stuff up, man. They got lawyers to draw paperwork and all of these signatures that need to be signed. But yeah, man, congrats to you. Business is definitely always the way to go. I mean, I don't. Everybody has something they know how to do, and they can convert it over into a business. Definitely. And I hope that all of this information was informative. I know people gonna take this and run with it, and I want them to, because I mean, y'all was talking about the boomers. Y'all was shitting on the boomers, man. It ain't the boomers that got a lot of the debt. I just, one thing I like about teaching and presenting, I end up having to pull up an article to prove my point, or kind of ride my talking point, and I end up learning something. So now you got, because a lot of times you got, like, cats like BGS and stuff, they be tired, man. They ain't got tired to time to pull up no evidence and nothing like that. But it ain't the boomers that has got the most debt. It's the Gen Xers. It's the older Gen Xers, and the younger Gen Xers and the millennials that got, uh well, actually, from that chart, it's the actual younger boomers, and then the actually not the younger boomers, the older Gen Xers, and then all the way down to the younger Gen Xers and the millennials, the oldest millennials. Those are the people that have the most average debt in America. Okay, so the boomers, they starting to get to where they're retiring, they're paying off all of their debt. They done, paid off their little doctor, PhD, graduate school loans and stuff like that, paid off. They getting ready to pay off their mortgage, or if not already paid off their mortgage. And they don't have the most debt. It's the, like I say, the Gen Xers, actually, like that article that I just read, and then the chart. So the statistics don't lie. They tell the story. So you know, this whole argument was that the boomers are the ones that messed everything up. No, I mean we followed along their example, yeah, and maybe you could say that, but the Gen Xers and the millennials are the ones that have the most debt. So let's see what else you said. Yeah, facts and current debt for silly stuff too, like new furniture, keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah, I mean, when you're young, you really don't need no new furniture. Especially this is some things like I'm gonna give some examples. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I'm actually a young Gen Xer. So I didn't even know this. Like I didn't know that I was actually a young Gen Xer. I'm like really a baby Gen Xer. That's tripped out. But um actually no, I'm a baby. Yeah, I'm a baby Gen Xer because actually if I was born a year earlier, I mean a year later, I would be a millennial. I'll be considered a millennial. So I'm like a baby Gen Xer. You know what I'm saying? Baby Gen Xer. So with that being said, just being a little baby OG, you want to say, when you live in an apartment, you definitely, you got to look at it like you're a peasant. Like you a lot of young people, like when I was young, I had an apartment and I thought I was balling, I was doing it. No, you live in an apartment, you supposed to, save your money, learn how to be on your own. If you're on your own for the first time, don't get no brand new furniture, because you know why? You're gonna have to move all of this stuff you get in this apartment. Apartments are temporary for the most part. Unless you live, like, I know New York is a whole different type of situation. Okay, if you live in New York, then you're excluded from this conversation. The broke genius excludes New York, California, even Miami, those high rental markets where you have to rent for basically survival. That's excluded in this conversation. But in theory, people that like live in the Midwest where rentals are relatively cheap, even if you really want to say New York or whatever, because unless you like got a mortgage on your place or something like that, if you just paying rent, right, you really shouldn't have brand new furniture. Because the thing is that if you're making it a temporary situation, if it's a temporary situation, you don't need no brand new furniture, and you definitely don't need to finance it. You just don't, because the thing about it is, why do that when you basically gotta move all of this stuff, and you can't really afford to buy new, because you're living in a temporary rental experience. You're a temporary rental. Rentals are all temporary because you don't own them. So oh yeah, okay. So you 26. So you a baby. You're a young millennial. Yeah. So yeah, I mean the thing about it is, actually, let me see here. What is the age range of millennials? Because I think you might be a Gen Z. Let's see. Young. Okay, wait. Millennial years. Millennial years. Let's see here. Uh, let's see here. What year is Generation Z? Oh yeah, you are a millennial. You're a baby. You actually a baby millennial. Okay, yeah. Okay. So yeah, yeah, you know a little something. You about the same age as my niece, my oldest niece. So you know a little bit of something. You've been around, you know, but you still don't know that much. You at the age where you kind of getting to know it's something that starts to grow towards around this age, and a lot of that's why insurance companies. I remember car rental companies would never. You would have to be like older than 26 to actually rent a car without like an insurance policy or something like that, or something you had to have, because one thing about development, it doesn't stop, but as far as your brain does not fully develop until you're 26 years old, you get something that I forgot the name of. It actually starts fully growing. I think it's I want to say, damn, I wish I had BGS. I think he definitely would know. I want to say it's something to do with your left and right hemisphere, your forebrain or something like that. Something about your brain does not fully develop until you like 26. But that being said, you still learning, you know what I'm saying? I remember when I was 26, shoot, man, I was still trying to figure it out. I had got by that time I got my second apartment, and then I had left that apartment, went back to my grandparents' house, and then tried to figure it out again. Get myself together. Then I started. Yeah, that was around the time I started my business. I got my like just what you just said. I got my EIN number. I got my sole proprietor's license, which would be like for the state, and started my business. Started trying to get contracts and stuff like that. And yeah, that was around that same time. And then I went and got a booth in the flea market, my local flea market, and I started selling computers, get servicing computers, and then after mm, about 3 years, I had got a job, was paying good money. I got laid off, and then I had already spotted a shop in Chicago, and then I just launched my business from the flea market. Started from my grandmother's basement, flea market, then actual store in Chicago, and man, I had it for like almost 3 years, and that's when I bought my first house cash, 2013, 33. Actually, not 2013. That was 2011. I was 31, and yeah, man, that's literally how the journey started, man. But I didn't know nothing, man. What I know now, Harley, I didn't. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know, man. Had I known about the millionaire savings plan back then, man, I would already be a millionaire. I'm pretty sure, because that's what changed my whole life, man. Because the thing about it was I always had a problem saving money, and I wasn't one of them guys that would be hitting no licks or nothing like that. And then all of a sudden I got $10,000 or 20,000 or $50,000. I made my money there like everybody else. I mean, going to work, maybe selling some stuff on eBay, make a little money, but I always would spend it too much. I would spend everything I had. It was like I was a hyper spender. So when I came with this millionaire savings plan, I started saving money, and then it changed up my whole script. So and then I used to go to the casino. I used to go to the casino like I was a gambling addict. It was sometimes I go to casino every day, and I don't even want to go to the casino. I have no hardly no desires. I forget that it is even a thing called the casino because I got money. The reason I wanted to go to the casino, I wasn't really. I wanted to try to hit them big jackpots and stuff like that. I definitely tried, but I just really I wanted what $500, $1,000. That's what I really wanted. I already got that. I get that. I get that. I mean, that's my regular. That's I mean, I get that, you know what I'm saying, effortlessly almost. All I got to do is get through the weekend. I got that. So it's like I don't have no reason to even go to the casino because it's like I just thought about that today. I'm like, damn, man, I don't even want to go to the casino because I already got money. I mean, what I'm up in there to get is to get money. I ain't there to have no good time or none of that. I'm trying to get some money. So a lot of the times when I wanted to go to the casino, I was extremely broke and I ain't really know what I know now and stuff. So I mean, but I wish you the best, man. Definitely continue to check me out, man. I mean, I'm on this journey just like anybody else, man. I'm trying to rise above myself, man. At the same time, I'm trying to educate the young people because basically you guys can do things different than what I did. I'm not one of those people that's gonna give you. I'm not only gonna give you advice. I'm gonna tell you, man, things to look out for. Curveballs to look out for and pitfalls, so you can kind of try to divert them if you can, because all that you gotta experience life and stuff like that. No, you ain't. You don't- if you can tell somebody, hey, it's a fire over there to the right. Well, if you could avoid going to the right and avoid that fire, you're gonna have a better, chance of life. And that's all I'll be trying to do. So yeah, we're gonna close this Friday out and you guys have a good time. Don't drink too much and stay safe out there. And definitely, man, if you have any disagreements, comment below. Like the video and definitely share it to as many people as you can. And if you haven't also, man, come out the shadows, subscribe if you're lurking, and yeah, have a good weekend.